guys, and this is the video instructions for the little stable that goes with the Kimberbell Nativity Stuffies. And I just wanted to kind of warn you here at first going into this video. I took the video while I was teaching the class, and so it's kind of pieced together, and this is not a professional pattern. It is not a professional video by any means. The instructions are handwritten. It's still in my handwriting, but this is all I had time to really get done right now here right before Christmas. So as you're making it, I would watch the video through the whole thing first, because I did kind of, what's the word? We had to change a couple of things in the process of doing the class and everything in the construction part of it. So just watch the whole video and then kind of read through the instructions and then use both of them as you construct the stable. But if you have questions, call me. Thanks. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is cut out everything. So you're going to have 3 pattern pieces. This pattern piece is for what I'm calling the sides in the roof. And then it also tells you what else you need to cut down here for the tabs and the ties. And then this is the bigger piece, is your main pattern piece that you'll cut out of the fabric. And then you have this pattern piece that I'm calling the Timex pattern piece. So you also have this little set of instructions that it's front and back, what you need to cut out. And so we'll be doing the fabric first. And okay, so I have the darker piece of fabric laid out. This is the fold, and then we've got your selvages up there. So you're going to take the main stable piece and lay it down here and as fold. So you're going to lay that on your fold. And then the pieces, so you'll be cutting one of these on the fold. Then you'll lay your piece for the sides and the roof. You'll lay that on here and you'll cut this out, and so you'll be cutting 2 of these. Then from the rest of your fabric up here, that's where you can cut, come over here, you're going to be cutting 2 inches by 21 inches, and that's for your ties. And then you're going to cut 4 2.5 by 4 pieces, and that's for your tabs. And so those are cut from the darker fabric. Then you'll lay your lighter color fabric out exactly the same way, and you'll cut the main stable piece and your roof and sides. You won't need the ties or the tabs out of this lighter fabric, so you'll just lay it out the same way. Lay this on the fold, cut 1 of these, cut 2 of these out of your lighter color fabric. Now you're going to have 2 pieces of the interfacing. This is the SF-101. You're going to have a big piece and a little piece. And on your instruction sheet, that's for this picture here, this is your SF-101, and this picture right here. So what you're doing is you're taking the main stable piece, and again, you're going to cut 1 of those on the fold. Okay? Then this piece is for the roof and the sides. You can either like lay your pattern piece down here, cut 1 here, and then move it over and cut another one, or just fold this in half lengthwise and then lay that pattern piece on top and cut 2 of those. So you'll end up again with 1 of the main stable pieces cut on the fold, and then 2 of the sides and the roof cut. Okay, I don't have this in the instructions anywhere, so I'm throwing this in. You want to, after you cut your SF-101, you're going to iron those pieces to the lighter color fabric. So your SF-101 is to be bonded to the wrong side, the back side of your light pieces of fabric. So your stable and your 2 sides and roof. Then you have your piece of the fusible fleece. Again, I have it laid here on the fold. You're going to lay your main stable piece here on the fold, so you'll be cutting 1 of those. And then you'll lay your sides and your roof pieces just up here. and cut 2 of those. And then your fusible fleece, you will bond these pieces to the darker fabric that you've cut out already. Okay, the instructions for your Timex pieces are back here on the back side. So from your Timex piece, this is going to use the Timex pattern piece. You're gonna lay one of your pattern piece down like this, and the length of the Timex is going this way. You're going to cut one of them exactly this size of your pattern piece, okay? Then you'll move it down here and you will cut another one, but that's what this note means. You're going to add 2 3/4 inches to the bottom. So don't cut the bottom off, take your ruler and add 2 3/4 inches to the bottom of this down here and cut one that size. Then down here, out of the rest of it that you have left down here, you're gonna cut 2 pieces that are 2 1/4 inches by 17 3/4 down here at the bottom. So you'll have 4 pieces of Timex cut. Now, if you want to embroider on your stable, you're going to want to do that now. You'll do the embroidery on the darker fabric that has the fleece iron to it, and then just use like a heavyweight tearaway as your stabilizer. And I embroidered the verse that's there in the picture. Or you could, we thought during the class, we thought it'd be cute to use the Nativity ornaments. Those designs match the Stuffies, and so that would be cute to embroider a little scene with those. So just make sure you're opening up the dark fabric, and then you'll position your embroidery so that when you fold the sides up, that your embroidery design will be right side up. So just make sure you do that embroidery now, and then now we'll just get into the construction part of the video. You're finding the 1/2 inch seam allowance on your machine. Most of what we're doing today is going to have the 1/2 inch seam. Then you have everything cut out, and if you've embroidered on it, you have to decide which side you want to be your front, okay? And the front is going to be the one that folds down, okay? So if you want your embroidery to show like when you fold it up and close it, that will be your front. The back is back here. So like I have mine on the back. So this is the back, the piece that folds down, this is the front. Decide which side you want your embroidery to be on, front or back. Okay. Once you decide, and this is on the darker fabric for right now. Most of what we're going to do is going to be on the darker fabric. If you go ahead and do this step that's in the instructions, then you can just ignore what I'm about to say in the video. And in the instructions, it's saying on your pattern piece, measure down the 2 1/2 inches from that corner, and then measure up 3 1/2 inches, and then transfer those marks to the front side of your darker fabric. So this is going to be the side that folds down. You might go ahead and kind of just check your measurements. If you continue to watch the video, just check your measurements and make sure that they're in the right spot on your fabric. Once you decide, okay, which one's going to be your front, so with the embroidery or without, on your fabric, I want you to measure from the points here. I'm pointing here, okay, measure down 2 1/2 inches and make a mark, and then cut. So from your points, we're going to call this your peak, okay? These are your peaks. So from the bottom of your peak, okay, the corner of your sides, 2 1/2 inches, and then 6 inches. ties. So get those pieces out. Those two pieces, they were the 2 something by 20 something. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh.
The ties, the long strips.
Could have sworn I cut
Okay,
everything.
you have to decide how fat you want your ties to be. Okay, I did a 1/2 inch seam allowance, so my ties are pretty skinny. If you want a little bit wider tie, then just do a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And what you're gonna do is just fold them right sides together, lengthwise like this, stitch across one short side and then down the long side. Leave one end open and then we'll turn it right side out. So do that. So if you want a fat tie, use a 1/4 inch seam. If you want a skinny tie, do a 1/2 inch seam. Okay, this one was sewn with a 1/4 inch seam and it's easier to turn right side out. And so I'm using the fast turn tubes. So you just feed it up on there. Fold the end down, run the wire up into it, and you turn it clockwise, and that makes it poke out, and then you just feed it through. And then once you have it turned right side out, you just turn the wire counterclockwise, and it comes off the end, and then you just press that. You have a piece of Velcro, okay? 2 pieces of Velcro. I gave them to you.
I know, but what did I do with them? Because I saw them and I thought, those aren't mine. Where'd that trash come from?
You have a piece of Velcro and a piece of fuse and seal. Okay, so this is the strong fusible stuff. I've written a P on the paper side because it's kind of hard to tell. So the side that doesn't have the P is the fusible side. Okay, tear your Velcro apart, and you're going to be fusing this onto the rough side. So the prickly side.
Okay.
Prickly. No. So get your piece of Velcro that's the rough side.
Okay.
And put the fusible side, so your P will be up, and you're fusing this to the back of the piece of Velcro. Right?
Prickly side.
Yep, so P, prickly side, P's up, you're fusing it to the back side of the rough side of the piece of Velcro. And then you're going to cut, then you could, like once you have that fused, put your 2 pieces of Velcro back together, and then cut this strip into 4 1-inch pieces.
So we iron this to
Iron it to the back of the rough side, and then cut it into 4-inch pieces. Now we're going to start the construction of the tabs. So you're going to get the 4 pieces that you cut like 2.5 by 4 inches, I think. Get those out. You have 2.5 by 4. You're going to fold up to the wrong side about 1/4 inch on one of the long sides, and then press that. Then you'll fold the 2 short sides. You'll fold one in to the center. Keep that 1/4 inch folded down. One end's going to go into the center. The other edge will go into the center. Press that, and then press it in half. So you'll end up with a little thing like that. And then, so you'll have 1 raw edge, 3 folded edges, and then top stitch these. Use your edge stitch foot and top stitch the 3 folded edges. So, zoom in here. So you're folding up 1/4 inch, press that, fold this in to the center, fold this in to the center, and then fold that in half. And press all that, and then top stitch the 3 folded edges. Once you have the tabs top stitched, you're going to take the smooth sides of your Velcro and you're going to stitch those on one side. So towards the bottom edge where you have it folded and where you have it top stitched, you're going to place the Velcro along there. So it's not going to be up here next to the fold. Okay, so it's going to be right down here. and stitch those Velcro, the smooth-sided, so not the one with the fusible on it, the smooth-sided pieces of Velcro onto your tabs. Sew those on.
Kind of what I was just getting ready
And
to
you
do.
can do your edge stitch foot with that also. Just make sure it's the ones that you don't have the fusible on. So this is the smooth side.
Yeah, I'm getting ready, so you're gonna have to explain.
Okay, so these are the tabs finished. So see the Velcro's just sewn down on one side. This is the raw edge. And then you have your pieces of Velcro that still have the fusible attached here. They're not sewn on. These are for later.
Was for.
Yeah, we're going to tape these down. Okay, so once you have your tabs and your Velcro stitched on, then you're just going to center those over the lines that you marked on the front and then base those in place. So you'll have 2 on this side, 2 on this side. Then you're going to lay your ties here at the peak on either side and stitch those so your ties are to the middle, your tabs are to the middle. And then once you have your ties, kind of tape them down so that they stay out of the way. One of these. There you go. Okay. You're going to take your stable piece, okay, fold it in half so your peaks are going to match up here, okay, and then here on the fold down here across the bottom, put a pin on the fold on this side, and then down here at the bottom, and a pin down here. So we're just finding the very center of your stable piece. All right. Then you'll do the same thing with each of your sides. So make sure you grab your darker sides. You have 2 of them. Fold them in half lengthwise, and just put a pin on one side. So we're finding the center of that on both of them. So fold it in half, find the center, fold this one in half, find the center, put pins. Then you'll take your sides and lay them right sides together. So here's your stable, right side of your side, and match your pins. So you'll have one on this side, then you'll have one down here.
So there's 2 pieces.
So
they're
you
not
have
on
2
the
sides. Yeah, not on the fold. Yeah,
Okay.
2 separate pieces. And then you're going to stitch these on. So once you match the pins, then you're going to sew this with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Okay, sew it across there, 1/2 inch seam allowance. So you'll have one on one side, one on the other. And then kind of fold this one out of the way when you do this other one, so you don't sew it into the seam. Repeat that process with your light colored fabric. So we'll do the same thing on your light colored.
Okay. Right.
Okay, so once you have your sides sewn on, then you're going to press it so your seam just stays laying flat out here. See that on both sides? And then you do the same thing on your lining piece. Okay, so you add your sides, and then you're going to layer. Okay, so this is her back here because the tabs are down here, so that's her front. You're going to layer this right sides together. Get it all lined up, and then you'll start stitching at the back. Go all the way, turn corner, go all the way around, turn corner, go all the way across here, all the way down there, and back up. So you're starting here, stopping here. You're not stitching this back with a 1/2 inch seam. You might not want to stitch the ends where the arrow, the blue arrow, is pointing. You might watch the rest of the video here where we're trying to get the Timex up into those sides and just kind of decide which way might be easier for you. So continue to watch the video and you'll see why. Okay, now this one has been turned right side out already, but before you do that, so you've stitched all the way around, okay, with them right sides together, you want to go in and double stitch these corners before you turn it right side out, and then clip the bulk out of those corners good. And then you can even go in and kind of trim the seam allowance on the side that has the fusible fleece, kind of trim that seam allowance down. So once you've done all that, then you'll turn it right side out and then just go along the same edges and top stitch about 1/8 of an inch all the way around the edges. Again, you're leaving this open still, so you're not going to top stitch that. So once you have it top stitched and everything, now we're going to start inserting the Timex pieces. And you want to do the two sides first. So you'll just come into your opening and basically you just start shoving it up in there and just start working a little at a time and feed it up into it like that. And I'm just going tiny bit at a time. And that's it. So do that on both sides. Are you filming?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
You're a trail.
We're finding it difficult to get the Timex all the way up here. So what we're doing is we're taking the stitches out here at the top, and then they did have, one lady put a safety pin on the end of her Timex and then fed it up in there, and then we could go in there and get a hold of the safety pin and pull it up, or if we don't have the safety pin here, we're just going to get a hold of it like that and then start pulling the Timex up. So just however you can get it up here to the top will work. And then we'll just go back and restitch that closed. If you left this open completely earlier, you will need to turn those raw edges under and top stitch them on both sides. So this may be an alternate method to get the Timex all the way up in our sidewalls here. I think I'm getting close. There we go. And then we'll just stitch that shut. And then while I have this one, you're going to, I think I went too far. Shut down. Okay, once you get it up in there, you're going to stitch across here. This is what I'm calling the base. You're going to stitch across there, and then you're going to measure 7.5 inches. I forget
That's
which
true.
side. Measure 7.5 inches from here to here and stitch across right there. That's just where when we fold, so it's going to fold up here, and then this side wall is going to fold up. We want a break or a stitch in this. Okay, I'm going to refold this. Basically, fold it like that, and where the side wall meets the point of the peak right there, or the point of the side of the peak right there. Move my finger out of the way. That's where we want it to stitch, because we want it to turn and go up the roof like that. So we're going to stitch across here, and then we're going to top stitch across there on both sides. Okay, so this is where we top stitch down here at the base, okay, across there, and that's basically just to hold the Timex up in there. And then when you're measuring like your side wall, how tall that is, that's where the top stitch goes across here. Let's see, so you're just top stitching so that it'll make that break when it turns the corner up here for the wall. Now what we're going to do is you're going to take the longer piece of Timex, that's your stable, yeah. So you have two different sizes. You have the shorter one, and then this is the one that we added the 2 3/4. This one's going to go in first, and you're just going to shove it up into here, up into this point. And then once you get it up in there, you'll top stitch. No, you won't top stitch there. We'll wait on that. You're going to top stitch across here. So once you get it up inside there, then you'll top stitch from that corner to that corner. And that'll form that break. So it'll, because then this becomes the bottom of the stable once you fold that up. Okay. Here you go. Okay, so we top stitched across there, so that piece of Timex is sticking on down here for your floor. And then your narrower piece of Timex will go up in here, and you'll just get it even, well, here, you'll get it even with the bottom down here. And then you can go ahead and stitch across there. And then once this is up inside, then you're just going to turn under these edges, and then we'll top stitch that closed. We decided your tie, take it off and then fold under this top edge, the 1/2 inch on both sides, and then just stick the tie back up in there, and then we're just going to top stitch that down, and that way you didn't have to mess with folding that tie around. So we're figuring this out as we go. So take that off, fold under each of your peaks, and then stick the tie back up in there. Okay, so this is your front because it has the tabs. So now you're going to, so we've got our top stitched and everything. You're going to fold these together so it's the light colored fabrics together, and you're going to match those edges, and you're going to top stitch right kind of along that previous row of top stitching. And it's thick down here, so I would start here and go down, and then once you've stitched that, then you'll break this and turn it, and then come up and top stitch along here. You'll have a little bit of extra up here at the top, and we'll figure that out here in a minute. And you'll do that on both sides. Okay, on these corners right here where they're top stitching this down, it is really thick, and so you might even get like some jeans needles. That would probably help. And then also, like what I've done on a couple of them, I've taken, get a piece of fabric and then a hammer, and then just kind of hammer those down a little bit, and that will help kind of squish that seam, because you want to just get it a little bit thinner. And so, because it is thick right there when you top stitch across there, that might help. Okay, so if your pieces aren't matching up here right at the end, just overlap them a little bit like that, and then just top stitch that edge right there, and then you could just whip stitch this edge if you need to, but just sew that down, and that will form your peak up there at the top. Okay, this is my top up here where my peaks meet, and so just remember this was like the prototype, and so mine I had to piece to make it match. So yours won't have that. But if your two pieces up here on the peak, if they come and they match right here, then what you can do is just whip stitch those together, and I'll kind of show you that. It looks like Frankenstein up underneath there, but I just whip stitch those edges together, and so if they don't overlap each other, you can do that. Last step is to attach your other pieces of Velcro. So once you have it all top stitched and everything, you're going to fold it up, and then you're going to lay these Velcro tabs down, and then just with a fabric marker draw around them so you'll know where the Velcro needs to go. And then these have your fusible on there. Take them, peel the paper off, lay these, and you can spray the back of them with like 505 spray. Then stick them where you've marked, and then iron it. So 505 spray will just kind of hold them in place temporarily, and then once you've got them placed, then just take the iron and steam the heck out of them, and they'll bond and stick down, and that's it. And then it will close up like that. And that's all. Thank you guys for watching the video and being patient with my instructions. And so, like I said, if you have any questions, just give me a call. Our phone number is 806-355-4976. Thanks, and y'all have a Merry Christmas.